people, look at you. Thank you, Debbie, Lewis. You are the most amazing person that I've managed to share the stage with. Right, today, what I'd like you to do, I know you've got your phones and we live in a world of, and I'd love you to film everything and tag me, but just for now, can everyone stand up, put your phones down, make sure you've got a bit of space, okay? If you're able, if you're not, then I've got something for you as well. So I just want you all to imagine I'm throwing a baton to you. Catch it, grab it, and I want you to put your hand up like this. And we are going to celebrate right now in advance for our future successes. So when Michelle puts the music on, we're going to jump. Jump! Jump! Level up, keep leveling up. Visualize your success. See it happening. Woo! Keep going. Get your energy. This arm should be punching. Well done, everyone. Well done. Give yourselves a clap. And you can all take your seats. Now that was you celebrating in advance. That's what we need to do. So my name's Ife Thomas. I'm a mindset and confidence coach and a motivational speaker. And today I am honoured and thrilled to grace the stage and speak to all of you. So my talk is called The Power of Words, ABC. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how the ABCs have showed up in my life. My parents came to the UK in the early 1980s, and they were here from Nigeria on student visas, studying. And towards the end, when they were just getting ready to graduate, my mum gave birth to me and I arrived. Giving away my age a little bit there, aren't I? So, at 6 weeks old, my mum had to make a really difficult decision on what she was going to do with this tiny little 6-week-old baby. So by the time I was 6 weeks old, she'd vanished from my life, and so had my father. I was abandoned, and some might say that I experienced rejection before I'd even developed the muscles to smile as a baby. Some people might say I was buried, but I look at it very differently. I was planted. My mum took the time to find the right environment for me. So she took me to a family who are working with Save the Children Foundation, a white family living not far from here, Newport Pagnell. Oh, there's some of us here, hello. At 6 weeks old, I went to live with my new mum and dad, Laura and Michael Barton. They loved me, raised me, and cared for me like their own. She found the perfect environment to plant me. My mum effectively took her baton and passed it to my other mum. So when I was 9 years old, my mum took me to my first ever dance class. And I remember walking in. And it's so amazing that we're in Milton Keynes. Can we just give a cheer that we're in Milton Keynes? Woo! And the reason I'm excited is this is my hometown. I remember I went to a little dance studio in Gifford Park, and my mum took me there. And as I walked in with my little sisters, the dance teacher had curly blonde hair, blue eyes, she was wearing black sweatpants, white leg warmers, and she started teaching these dance moves. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was watching, trying to pick up the moves. She was going kneecap, kneecap, shoulder, shoulder. And I was learning the moves, and she kept going over and over again until all the dancers had the moves. And then what she did was, she pressed the cassette player. Yeah, everyone here knows what one of those is. She pressed it, and the song that come out, I'd love you to follow my lead. It went, boom, 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 let me hear you say, way-oh. Way-oh. Brilliant, I can't do that everywhere I go. So that song comes on, she goes 5, 6, 7, 8, and I just start moving. And this feeling happens that comes over me, this surge of energy, this feeling of, this feels so good. This is amazing. I can remember it like it was yesterday, the feeling of in control while moving. Anyway, at the end of that dance class, my mum, like most mums, went up to the dance teacher and said, "So what do you think of my children?" And the dance teacher said, "Well, the little one, very good, flexible, great. The middle one, yeah, very, very good. Ife, well, stiff as a board, struggles with timing, struggles with spatial awareness. We'll have to wait and see about her." So when I get home, I go to the conservatory and I wrap up all the net curtains. So I am practicing move after move over and over again. And my mum comes down eventually and says, "You've got to go to bed now." And that is what it was like every single night. I would dance and practice and rehearse. And I did it because while I was in the dance studio, I knew I wasn't the best. I knew I was probably one of the worst. I knew it. I had self-awareness. That's what we would call it nowadays, self-awareness. So that's why I practiced. We'd go to competitions every single week, every Sunday, and I would sit there, dance my little heart out, and then hope that they call my number out. I remember Len Goodman, the late Len Goodman, he used to run these dance competitions in Gravesend, and he'd be on stage and he'd say, "Winners never quit, quitters never win." And he'd throw away these t-shirts that says, "Success comes in cans, but not can'ts." And these are the slogans and mantras that I was surrounded by, even though every week I would dance and not get through. Week after week, and they wouldn't call my number out. But my sisters, they started moving up the ranks, started to go from leotards to sparkly costumes, and there I was, just trying my best, thinking I'm going to get better. So by the time I'm 14 now, I finally got into a costume. Everyone in the dance school cheered. It was wonderful. There was parents crying because I got into a costume, because they'd watched me months, years. And then something happened. Over 6 months, I became an under-16 champ. And we turned up, yeah, let's get a woo, woo, woo! And I turned up to this competition, and this one was in Hemel Hempstead. And as I was queuing up, I saw 2 girls say, "Ife's here." And I remember thinking, what does that mean? And then as I was walking in, someone said, "She's really good, she's against me." I thought, they're scared of me, because I'm good. And I did start to get really good. I started winning, and it was amazing. So I said to my dance teacher, "I want to be a professional dancer. I want to be on TV. I want to be on the stage. How do I do that?" And she said, "You need to go to a top London dance college." I said, "Okay." So I applied for the Erdang Academy, one of the most prestigious performing arts colleges that we have in the UK. And I went to the audition, and I waited for 3 months, and I looked outside the window, and I saw the postman come down, and I saw him get out this white A4 envelope, and I was like, it's got to be it, it's got to be it. Run downstairs, and I see the white envelope go through the letterbox, and I grab it. And then I turn around and my mum's right behind me. And the whole time while I was at these dancing competitions, it's quite rowdy. Who here's ever been to a freestyle dance competition? Yeah, okay, so you're my people. The parents stand there going, "Go on, go on." And my mum always used to go, "Go on, Ife, go on, Ife, you can do it." You're dancing. Trying to do it. And we were standing by the front door, and she's behind me, and I give her the envelope, and I see that it has the Erdang official stamp, so I know it's from them. She opens the envelope, pulls it out, looks at me and goes, "You got in?" I was so happy. We ran upstairs to the kitchen, and I jumped on the work counter, And then my mum started reading what it said. Start in September. You got a full scholarship. Don't have to pay. She goes, you did it, Ife. And I looked back at her and said, we did it. So now I'm off to dance college. Comes the day, I get to Milton Keynes Station, go on the train, get to Euston, get on the tube to Covent Garden, get off at Covent Garden, and it's like out of one of those musicals. I'm here. And I walk on my way down Shelton Street, open the doors of the Erdang, and it is full. Dancers stretching, leaning, talking, and these are my people. Here you all are. The feeling of being in a room full of people who love dance and performance was amazing. I felt safe. I felt like I was in the right place. I go to my first lesson, walk up 4 stories, Studio 4, standing at the ballet bar, like this, leotard, tights, ballet shoes, standing there, mirrors. And then I get this feeling. I can see in the mirrors, I'm probably the worst one there. Back to where I started. So as the ballet teacher was saying these French words, développé, arabesque, frappé. See, when I think of a frappé, I think of a Starbucks. Oh, I'd like one of those right now. So I realised that I wasn't very good. I could see that I wasn't very good. And I had this feeling, which we would now call imposter syndrome. I felt a bit ashamed. I was hoping no one would notice. But there was this one ballet teacher, Mrs. Pope, prima ballerina. She's walking along, looking at the dancers, and she gets to me and she goes, ugh. And then she points out how not pointy my feet are. So after the dance class, I say to Mrs. Pope, how do I get beautiful, pointed feet like you? And she says, you need to work on your metatarsal muscle. I said, okay, what's that? She said, it's the little muscle on top of your foot. If you work on it every single day and build that muscle, you'll be able to pull your foot into a beautiful point. I said, okay. So every day I would get to dance college early, before anyone else. I'd stand at the ballet bar and work on those metatarsal muscles. And I'd do that every single day, every day. After 4 years, I graduated from the Erdang Academy. Woohoo! Everyone graduates. So I got offered a job though, to be in a show called Pearly, which was an off-West End paid job. And they asked me to be the main dancer. I was so excited. My mum come to opening night. My solo comes up. I go to the centre of the stage. I'm about to do 16 fouettes. I know what they are now. Spins where your leg go out. 1, 2, 16, double pirouette, land. Get a round of applause. I look at my mum and she's like, you did it, yeah. Felt amazing. After that, things started to snowball. I auditioned and I ended up on a show called BBC Dance X. Arlene Phillips is now my mentor. I'm being seen by millions of viewers every single week. Bruno Tonioli and the whole Strictly cast at the studios there. My mum's coming every week. There's this one week where she's sitting next to Ben Shepherd and he's talking to her and she's just so at home with the celebs. My mum's loving it. Anyway, I do the Dance X show and then I get the opportunity to be a backing singer and a dancer on X Factor. So every week, after week, I'm there at Fountain Studios in Wembley, where they're filming the X Factor. I'm walking down the corridors, bumping into Beyonce, seeing George Michael, watching Mariah Carey sing and thinking, wow, I mean, it's amazing. And my mum's at home cheering and watching the whole time and messaging me, oh, we're watching you on telly, me and your dad are so proud. So it was amazing. And then one thing that happened that just blew my mind, 2008, I'm at the O2 Arena, it's New Year's Eve, a stage like this. Down here is Elton John on the piano. Next to him is Paul McCartney. Further along, Alexandra Burke, me, Brian May here. Oh, we're singing. You know the song at the end of the year that everyone sings? For all and time, my dear. You know that one, everyone's singing it with the lighters. No one really knows what the words are, but we're all singing it. Anyway, and I'm standing there thinking, wow, from being that little girl who could never get her number called to standing on a stage with all of these people, you just have to keep getting better, I thought. You just have to keep getting better. Then what happened? I went to an audition, as you do. I get through the first 2 rounds. They say, put your shoes on. I'm ready. I feel like I'm going to get picked, smiling at all the judges. And I go, step, kick. My knee goes from under me. I hear a crunch, which I can still hear, fall to the floor, and I can't get back up. The judges are looking at me, and I see one guy who was smiling at me before go, you know what that is? Crossed off the list. So I hobble home, end up going to the hospital, and they tell me I've snapped my ACL, I need surgery, and I'm laying there and I'm feeling like, what now? That's all I've ever known. Dancing is all I could do. Leaped over into the dance world and ended up doing everything I wanted to do, and then it's all just gone. And while I'm sitting in the darkness and feeling sorry for myself, I ask myself, what now? My mum's like, you can do anything you want. Really? So I start to visualize. I want a life where I can be financially free, where I get to be on stage and perform and get that feeling. I want to live and be my own boss. What am I good at? Pretty good at sales. So I decided to start my own business. Put away my sparkly hot pants, put on my suit, and start a company called the National Accountancy Network of Chartered Accountants. People would say, you? Yeah. I built it from my living room, and I used the ABC, attitude, behaviour, consistency method. After 18 months, I looked up and went, we've got 6 members of staff and 2 shareholders. Doing pretty well for myself. And people kept coming up to me and going, you're doing really well for yourself. How did you do it? So I would break it down. There's 12 steps. And I wrote a book called Power Lift Your Career, 2017, and people started buying the book and then telling their companies to hire me and to talk about the book. So I became a mindset and confidence coach. I went to California, learned from the best, Brian Tracy, studied under him, came back to the UK, and now I'm a mindset confidence coach, and I'm running my business, selling my books, and being asked to speak. And then something amazing happens. I get a phone call, 20 years since leaving the Erdang. Ife, would you like to come in and deliver a talk to our first-year students? 2019, 450 first-year students turn up, deliver a talk, and I share with them this idea because by that time I've got children, and I have a son who was diagnosed with autism when he was 2, and I was told that he'd struggle for the rest of his life. I'm not the type of person who listens to that kind of stuff, so I've thought, what can I do to help him build confidence? And I came up with a product called the Confidence Star, getting him every day to look in the star and say, I am somebody, I am good enough, I can do anything, I like myself. Repetition, just like that metatarsal muscle, getting to say every single day a little bit, and he'll start to believe in himself. I actually went and studied neuroscience, psychology, philosophy, metaphysics, and I'm obsessed with human behaviour. So I did all that so that I could help my son. And now I'm on a stage in front of loads of people's children. And obviously I'm going to tell them about these positive affirmations, and I get them all fired up. I get off the stage, everyone's cheering and happy. I go to the office and they say, thank you, Ife, thank you so much for being here. And I see Mrs. Pope. And Mrs. Pope says to me, "We are so proud of you. We've been watching you. You've done amazing." And I say to Mrs. Pope, I take my foot out of my shoe and I show her my point. And she goes, "Wow, great job." So I'm going to wrap up now. And what I'm going to say is this. 2018, something happened. I got a phone call to say that my mum had a brain tumour and that she only had 8 weeks left to live. And in that moment, everything came crashing down. She died after 10 weeks. Next week, it will be nearly 6 years since she passed. But I just keep hearing her saying, "Go on, Ife. Go on, Ife." She'd have loved to be here today. So my birth mum had the baton and passed it to my foster mum. My foster mum passed me the baton. Everyone, I want you to grab the baton I'm passing to you. Catch it. Hold it. Close your eyes. I want you to visualise your best life. I want you to visualise yourself strong, able, capable. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up. Everyone stand up. I want you to lift your arm up. Okay, I want you to hold this baton. I want you to think about your seed that's been planted in you. And I want you to remember this moment. You have greatness in you. You have seeds of greatness in you. And no matter what you've been through, no matter how hard life has hit you, no matter how many dark days you've faced in your life, you can own your shine. You've got it. And this can be your fight song if they press play. You've got the baton. You've got the fourth leg. You get to finish the race. So I want you to run as fast as you can. Cross that finish line and own your shine.
What a professional. Thank you so much. We've actually planted one of Ife's stars.